Last time, we explored 9 rare fruits that seemed too strange, fragile, or local for ordinary supermarket shelves. But that was only the beginning. Before we continue, I want your completely honest feedback after you finish this video, especially about the content, visuals, and sound. I read every comment, and your feedback helps me improve the quality of each new video. In this second chapter, you are going beyond the display aisle to meet 10 more fruits hidden in northern bogs, American forests, Amazon wetlands, and tropical backyards. You will discover who can safely eat them, how much a season can produce, and what growers and pickers endure before the fruit reaches a market. Some look familiar, others challenge what fruit can be, and by the end, you can decide which fruit the series should explore next. Cloudberry. This amber-colored berry grows in acidic peat bogs, wet tundra, and open northern forests across Finland, Scandinavia, Russia, Canada, and Alaska. The plant remains only a few inches above the ground, so pickers spend much of the day bent over or walking through moss that can hide deep pools of water. Reaching a productive bog may require a long drive followed by several miles on foot. Once there, mosquitoes, cold rain, and unstable ground make every pound difficult to collect. The berries do not grow in neat clusters. Each female stem normally carries only one fruit, and it produces nothing unless insects bring pollen from a male plant. Wild yields can range from less than 2 pounds to almost 270 pounds per acre. In many natural peatlands, roughly 18 to 45 pounds per acre is more realistic, while anything near 270 pounds represents an unusually productive site. Even an experienced picker who gathers 18 pounds in one day has covered a large area and handled thousands of individual berries. Most adults and children can eat ripe cloudberries, although the seeds and strong tartness may make jam or sauce more appealing than raw fruit. The berries turn from red to soft amber when ripe, and bruise almost immediately. A productive bog may offer a valuable harvest, but it cannot guarantee the volume, uniformity, or durability required by a supermarket. Pawpaw. This is the North American pawpaw, which grows in moist woodland, fertile river valleys, floodplains, and shaded forest edges across much of the eastern United States and southern Canada. Wild trees often form dense patches through underground shoots, but many stems in a patch may produce little fruit if pollination is poor. Orchard growers usually plant several genetically different trees because pawpaw flowers cannot reliably pollinate themselves. The work continues for years before the first meaningful harvest. Young trees need protection from harsh sunlight, deer, and competing vegetation, while mature trees must be inspected repeatedly during a short ripening season. Pawpaws soften at different times, sometimes over only 2 weeks, so every tree may need several visits. The fruit must be lifted by hand and placed in shallow padded boxes. Shaking the branches or stacking the fruit deeply can turn a day's crop into bruised pulp. A recent commercial orchard model assumed approximately 25 pounds of fruit from a mature tree in a full season. Wild trees may produce much less, while selected cultivars can perform better under good management. The creamy yellow flesh is suitable for most adults and children when fully ripe, but the skin and large dark seeds should be removed. Because the fruit softens rapidly and cannot be harvested far in advance, even a productive orchard has only a few days to sell or process its seasonal crop. Marang. This relative of jackfruit grows in the humid tropical lowlands of Borneo and the southern Philippines, particularly in Mindanao, Palawan, Sabah, Sarawak, Brunei, and Kalimantan. It prefers constant warmth, regular rainfall, and protection from strong dry seasons. The trees can become tall, placing the fruit well above the farmer's head. Growers must judge maturity from the rind, aroma, stem, and softness. Then use ladders, climbing methods, or long poles to remove the fruit before it falls. A meringue that drops from a high branch may split open or suffer internal bruising. Harvesting too early creates a different loss, because the white flesh may remain firm and fail to develop its full fragrance. Seasonal production can be surprisingly high, but it varies sharply by region and tree. A recent survey in the southern Philippines reported an average of about 675 fruits per tree across the full season in Davao, while farms in the more productive Socos Hajin sample reported over 1,600. These are regional survey figures, not a promise for every tree. High production creates its own problem because hundreds of fruits may ripen while farmers have only a few days to sell them. Adults and children can eat the ripe white flesh around the seeds. The seeds are also edible after boiling or roasting, but should not be treated as raw snack nuts. Marang grows far from most international cold chains, and its extremely short post-harvest life can turn an abundant seasonal crop into waste before it reaches a distant buyer. Aguaje. This reddish-brown fruit grows on Mauritia flexuosa palms in flooded Amazonian forests and peatlands called aguajales. Large stands occur in Peru, Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador, Bolivia, Venezuela, Guyana, and Suriname. A female palm may reach 115 feet and carry 4 to 8 large fruit bunches in a season. Each bunch can hold roughly 500 to 2,000 fruits and may weigh between 65 and 90 pounds. A strong, mature palm can produce around 440 pounds in 1 year, while managed stands may yield approximately 3 to 4 tons per acre. The apparent abundance hides the difficulty of collecting it. Harvesters travel into wetlands by canoe, cross mud and standing water, then climb the equivalent of an 11-story building with ropes and harnesses while carrying cutting tools. The bunch must be lowered carefully because dropping nearly 90 pounds of fruit can injure the climber or damage the crop. Older harvesting methods simply cut down the female palm. This delivered one large harvest quickly, but destroyed every future crop from that tree. Sustainable climbing takes more time and skill, yet allows the palm to continue producing for decades. Most people can eat softened aguaje pulp, which is scraped from the large seed and used in drinks, ice cream, sauces, flour, and oil. The large seed forms most of the fruit's weight, while the edible pulp is thin and perishable. Transporting several tons from a remote swamp therefore means moving a great deal of seed, water, and shell. Peanut butter fruit. This small orange-red fruit grows on Bunchosia glandulifera, a tropical shrub or small tree native to Central and South America. It performs best in warm, humid lowlands, and is also cultivated by fruit collectors in Florida, Hawaii, Australia, Southeast Asia, and other frost-free regions. A tree grown from seed may begin fruiting after 2 or 3 years, and can flower more than once in a warm year. The difficulty is that flowers, green fruit, orange fruit, and soft red fruit may all appear on the same tree at the same time. Growers cannot complete the harvest in one visit. They must return every few days, selecting individual fruits before they soften too far or fall. Birds can remove ripe fruit quickly, and a short delay may leave the ground covered with damaged berries. There is no dependable commercial yield figure in pounds per tree, because peanut butter fruit is rarely grown in measured orchards. A healthy garden tree can produce repeated clusters and several small harvests through the warm season, but the crop is usually counted in bowls or baskets rather than tons per acre. The ripe flesh can be eaten by most adults and children after the large seed is removed. Despite its name and aroma, the plant is not related to peanuts and contains no peanut butter. Each fruit offers only a small amount of sticky pulp, so even a tree covered in red fruit may produce far less usable food than its appearance suggests. This scattered ripening pattern suits a home garden, but not a supermarket supply contract. Ice cream bean. This unusual fruit grows on Inga edulis, a tropical tree found from parts of Central America through the Amazon basin. It naturally occurs near rivers, wooded swamps, rainforest margins, and other warm areas with regular moisture, although established trees can tolerate a surprisingly wide range of soils. Farmers often plant it among coffee and cacao because its broad canopy creates shade, its roots support nitrogen-fixing bacteria, and its leaves provide mulch. Harvesting the pods is only one part of the tree's value. A mature tree can develop a crown more than 30 feet wide, placing many pods high above the ground. Lower pods can be pulled by hand, but higher ones must be cut with long poles or reached by climbing. A tree of this size may produce approximately 20 to 100 pods in a fruiting period and may crop at least twice in a favorable year. This gives perhaps 40 to 200 pods annually, although weather, pollination, variety, and pruning can change the result. Each pod may contain 10 to 20 seeds, but only the thin layer of white cottony pulp around them is normally eaten fresh. That pulp is suitable for adults and children and has a mild vanilla sweetness. The seeds should be separated. In communities that use them as food, they are boiled or roasted rather than eaten raw. A farmer may harvest an impressive pile of pods, reaching several feet in length, yet only a small fraction of that pile is edible pulp. The rest is heavy shell and seed, which makes long-distance shipping ineffective. Buddha's hand. This fingered citron grows best in sunny, frost-free or nearly frost-free regions, with well-drained soil. It has been cultivated for centuries in China and Japan, and is also grown in India, Vietnam, Mediterranean countries, Southern California, and other warm citrus regions. The tree is more sensitive to cold than many familiar citrus varieties. Wind can rub the developing fingers against branches, excessive rain can encourage fungal damage, and poor watering can cause flowers or young fruit to fall. Growers prune the canopy for airflow, watch for citrus pests, and sometimes clean each mature fruit by hand, because appearance determines much of its value. A well-managed mature Buddha's hand tree may produce around 20 to 50 pounds in a season. Broader citron records suggest that especially productive mature trees can exceed 80 pounds, but small garden trees may carry only a few fruits. The challenge is not simply producing weight, but producing unscarred hands with attractive fingers before holiday demand begins. Most people can use Buddha's hand, but it is not eaten like an orange. The fruit contains little or no juice and may have no conventional pulp. Its fragrant yellow rind and mild white pith are grated, sliced, candied, infused into alcohol, or used to scent food. Because consumers buy it for aroma, cooking, decoration, or ceremonial offerings, a large harvest outside the holiday season may be much harder to sell than a smaller crop of perfect fruit at the right moment. Monstera Deliciosa. This fruit grows on a large climbing plant, native to the humid forests of southern Mexico and Central America. In the wild, Monstera uses aerial roots to climb tree trunks toward filtered sunlight. The common indoor houseplant usually remains too small, dry, or shaded to flower. Even outdoors, a plant grown from a cutting may need 4 to 6 years before producing fruit, while a strong sucker may begin after 2 to 4 years. Once a flower is pollinated, the cylindrical fruiting spike takes approximately 12 to 14 months to mature. Each fruit normally grows between 8 and 14 inches long. This creates a slow and confusing harvest. New flowers, immature green fruits, and nearly ripe fruits may exist on the same plant, representing more than 1 year of growth. Growers must support the heavy vines, protect them from wind, and wait until the scales on each fruit begin lifting naturally. Agricultural extension sources do not provide a standard commercial yield per plant because Monstera is not established as a measured orchard crop. A mature tropical vine may produce several fruiting spikes, but another plant of the same size may produce none. Only the naturally exposed, fully ripe flesh should be eaten. Tightly covered green sections contain calcium oxalate crystals that can cause severe burning and swelling in the mouth and throat. Adults and children should never force off the scales or eat unripe portions. The long maturation time, uncertain number of fruits, and need to ripen each section gradually make even a successful seasonal harvest difficult to standardize or sell safely. See buckthorn. These orange berries grow on thorny shrubs across Europe and Asia, especially on sandy riverbanks, coastal dunes, gravelly slopes, mountain valleys, and exposed land with poor soil. The plant survives drought, salt, wind, and severe cold, but commercial orchards still need both male and female shrubs because only pollinated females produce berries. A mature female plant commonly yields around 11 to 15 pounds in a season. Well-managed plantations may produce approximately 2 tons per acre, while natural stands are usually much less productive. Collecting that yield is the hardest part. The berries grow tightly against short stems and do not release cleanly. Long thorns surround the clusters, and ripe fruit bursts when squeezed. Hand harvesting 1 acre can require around 600 labor hours. Some growers cut selected fruiting branches, freeze them, and shake the frozen berries loose. This saves labor but must be balanced with careful pruning so the shrub can regrow and continue producing. Other farms use vibration or mechanical systems, although these may damage fruit or bark. Most people can eat sea buckthorn, but the fresh berries are intensely sour and can be unpleasant in large amounts. They are more commonly pressed into juice, mixed with sweeter fruit, or processed into syrup, jam, powder, and oil. A plantation may produce thousands of pounds in a short period. so freezing and processing must begin quickly. Without that infrastructure, the same impressive harvest becomes a mass of leaking berries that supermarkets cannot display as fresh fruit. Crowberry. This small black fruit grows on low evergreen mats across Alaska, Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Scandinavia, Russia, and other Arctic, subarctic, and alpine regions. It favors acidic tundra, coastal heath, bog edges, exposed slopes, and cold open ground where taller fruit plants struggle to survive. Crowberry can cover enormous areas, yet the berries are not evenly distributed. One Finnish forest study recorded an average yield of only about 1 1/3 pounds per acre of total forest area. In a good national season, however, the biological crop across Finland's vast landscape may reach roughly 265 to 350 million pounds. Most of that fruit is never collected. Pickers must locate productive patches, kneel or bend over the low plants, and separate berries from moss, leaves, insects, and other vegetation. A hand rake can collect more quickly, but also gathers debris that must be cleaned out later. Weather can reduce an apparently healthy patch to almost no fruit, while birds and mammals take part of the crop before people arrive. Crowberries are edible for most adults and children. Their flavor is mild, watery, earthy, and slightly tart, so they are often mixed with sweeter berries in jam, pies, puddings, or a kutak. For many indigenous northern families, the harvest is measured as winter food rather than commercial tonnage. The fruit may be abundant across an entire region, but low yield in each individual patch and the absence of organized farms prevent that abundance from becoming a predictable supermarket supply.